So Saturn retrograde, we're looking at where Saturn is as it begins its retrograde here over in Pisces. If you see my cursor moving, you see that Saturn's at 1926 Pisces. And it's going to move from June 30th, or I'm sorry, June 29th to November 15th roughly, and it will end up at 1242 Pisces. So what's happening overall, the big picture is you're being asked to revisit something that happened on March 24th of this year, 2024. You're being asked to kind of review and revise and repattern, reshape, replan. There's a new plan. So something that was going on in late March, kind of mid to late March and into April, there were some things that were going on, themes. Think of everything that was happening at that time. All the things you were concerned about, the things you were working on, stuff that came up, relationships, make a list. And, kind of highlight the things that were bigger deals, a job change, a new relationship, the end of a relationship, or a goal you were working on, or, a project you were working on. And if you think back to that time, you could just, in a gentle way, not to chastise yourself, but what do you wish you had done differently? Is there something, or are you super proud of yourself? Are you really proud of how you handled everything around that time? Or the way you were thinking during that time, do you see where maybe now you think about it differently? Each of these things on your list of the things that were going on during that time frame, how are you viewing it now? How have you changed your mind? Sometimes we can get stuck in a perspective or an opinion or a way of responding that's unhealthy. Saturn always wants us to learn. It wants us to learn the lessons. And then it leaves us alone, and we're actually better for it once we learn the lesson. But if we never stop to consider how we've learned the lesson, then Saturn can kick us around and it can feel like Saturn is a bully or a bad thing in our life. But I would argue that anything good in your life is there because of Saturn. If you ever finished a degree, if you ever finished anything that you set out to do, if you ever got married or had a relationship, a lasting relationship, a job, any goal you've ever reached, anything you've ever done that you're super proud of and feels like you accomplished something, Saturn helped you do that. So you have a good life, the parts of your life that you like, the things you're proud of because of Saturn. So never be scared of Saturn. And that being said, it does want you to learn lessons in life, to learn from your mistakes, to see where you could do things differently. And that's not a bad thing to ask a person to do. So this is a really good time between now and November, the middle of November, to take stock of what you want to be working on over these coming months. What would you like to work on now, and what new perspective can you bring? What new attitude can you bring? If something happens again, how would you like to react? If there's some kind of chronic issue going on in your life. So these are the main things to think about with Saturn retrograde. I mean, this is not an abnormal occurrence. You must know this happens very frequently. Planets retrograde all the time. You may not always hear about it. Last year, for example, Saturn was retrograde from June 17th, this is 2023, to November 4th. So roughly kind of covering the same time period, Saturn was retrograde. And you can look back if you want to 2023 and see What did you accomplish during that time frame? Again, kind of looking at what you did that you're really proud of in relationships, in your career, in your personal care, anything. What are you super proud of when you look back at that time? Like, wow, I really look what I did during that time. It's great to take stock and give yourself credit. And when you, I think when you do it that way, you also see how you used that retrograde naturally, maybe without even understanding that's what you were doing. You were working on some things. Look where you maybe dropped some unhealthily high and strict boundaries, or look where you changed plans or created a plan that you stuck to. Just look what you accomplished. Look at the highlights of what you liked about what you did during that time frame last year in 2023. This gives you a good idea of what you can accomplish. You don't have to do the same things. I'm not saying that, but it shows you how much you can get done with Saturn. Saturn is here to help you move forward in your life, and don't be scared of it, but be willing to look at where you could do something in a new way. It is about not always doing the same thing over and over and over again and getting a bad result. If you want a different good result, you may need to change some things. And to do that, you need to reflect on how you are doing things. So that's it. Happy Saturn retrograde.